Brodes Media.
So, it wouldn't be Philadelphia Eagles drama without some reports. And for a while here, Diana Rossini has been in the crosshairs because she's been saying all sorts of things with A.J. Brown. And I'm not one of those that have ripped Diana Rossini. She's being told things. She is in that space. Whether you want to believe some of the stuff, whether you think some of it's fabricated, that's not for me to tell you. She's doing her job. You react the way you react to her job, and that's what it is. I did feel it was getting stretched out a bit. I think she was really sinking her teeth into some of it, and it got a little annoying and just too much for my personal liking. And I also wonder how much of this is just AJ saying, yo, you got to start letting people know this is how, because this is what happens. When people say things, there are ones inside the NovaCare complex and people who are in the Philadelphia Eagles organization that are trying to get info out there to the world. And they say, don't put a name on it. Don't say where you got it from. But we need to start leaking. Howie leaks. Where do you think Adam Schefter gets all his stuff from? How we leak stuff? This is what it is. So people are going to, Derek Gunn, for example, and you're going to hear a couple of pieces here, to Diana Rossini, and they want this out there for some reason. You may disagree with that reason. And now we have some bombshells, in my opinion, and this one being the craziest. This is about, and this is Derek Gunn on Seth Joyner and the post-game show that they do together. And Mark Farzetta is a part of that as well. This is about Jalen playing his game at quarterback.
It has been constantly discussed all season long, yet when they transition to the field on a football game, he plays his game. Not the game the coaches want him to play. He plays his game. I don't think you can get him out of that mode at this particular point. I think it's what we're going to have to watch all season long is him playing his game. You know, you look at a lot of quarterbacks, they're going to sling it. They're going to try to throw it through an eye of a needle. Sometimes you just have to take that chance. That's not his game. That's why he stands back there. A lot of times he's patting the ball, and it throws the timing of the offense off. The rhythm is thrown off. I don't think at this point they can't get him out of it. It's frustrating in a lot of ways to the coaching staff and to the players. Extremely frustrating to the players because when they look at the film the next day or a few days later, they see what's available out there, what should have happened, and it didn't happen. It's frustrating to them as well.
Okay, so my first thought to myself when I'm speaking to my inner monologue is who wanted this out? And he mentioned the coaches get frustrated by it. I don't know. Nick Sirianni seems to love winning. I think Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts are wired in a very similar way. Now, they have different personalities. One guy's a lot louder and a lot more obnoxious than the other. But what comes down to their DNA, they just want wins, 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 wins. I do not give a flying fuck how it looks. Wins, wins, wins. And when you see 952 type of winning percentage with these two together, I mean, seriously, I don't think it's Nick Sirianni frustrated. I really don't. If anything, I think Nick Sirianni is stoked. I think Nick Sirianni is happier than ever before. I'm actually at the point where I think he's probably too happy with all the winning, which is one of the most obnoxious things I've ever stated in my life, because you can never argue about winning too much, but I think he's almost so blinded by the winning that they're not even internally looking at some of the issues with a harsh enough eye. You know? So I don't think it's Nick. Could it be Patullo? Yes. It could absolutely be Patullo. Because I don't think he's really focused in on the quarterback's strengths. He probably looks at it as, I'm a OC. This is what I want. This is what I visualize an offense being. So he may be on the coaching frustration part of it. I don't think it's the head coach. D Gunn mentioned players a couple times. Yeah, A.J. Brown. You think it's the O-line? I don't. I think Mailata looks at himself and says, I got to do my job. I think the offensive line, just think about their particular matchup, and if you ask them all to be on a lie detector test, I don't think they're mad at Jalen Hurts for his inability to read a field or let it rip. I think they say, we got to run block better. We got to help get this run game going. So, yeah, I bet you there's a couple of I think A.J. Brown is very, 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 very involved with all these leaks. To Diana and now to D Gunn. And by the way, D Gunn is tremendous at what he does. D Gunn's locked in. D Gunn's no joke. D Gunn has his respected short. He's been around a long time, man. I love D Gunn. So I am not trying to debunk that this is stuff he's told, but is it misguided by the people who are telling him this? And this is where it doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. Jalen's playing his game, and they can't get him away from playing his game. That's his game. I mean, Jalen Hurts plays a certain way. He's not a gunslinger. He could throw the football when he's on his A game. He's having a rough couple of games here. He's playing poorly. He's a great quarterback who's playing poorly. And I think the operation is screwed up more than it is Jalen Hurts is screwing up a polished operation. I think everything surrounding this offense is out of whack and out of sync, and that's hurting the quarterback's play. I don't think this thing is running smoothly, and if you plug and play a different quarterback, then you're automatically going to see different results. I think you're going to struggle because it's so fundamentally flawed, and there's a big difference. Why would you want Jalen Hurts to play any other way than the way he plays? Because he is a unique experience. And I'm sure as a coach, there are things that you got to wiggle around when it comes to Jalen being your guy. But at the end of the day, he's going to win you a lot of games when you do that. This isn't timing. Go watch Jimmy Kempski and see all the A.J. Brown routes against man coverage. That's not poor timing. I'll tell you what's poor timing. A.J. Brown giving up. A.J. Brown, that route was even worse on the tape than it was in real time. And in real time, I was disgusted. He talked that talk all week long. He was running his mouth. I want to be involved. You're getting strapped up by a banged up secondary in Detroit. You're getting locked up. Bro, you were awful. And here he is, just half-ass jogging. Legitimately no effort. That's timing? That's timing on the quarterback? That's Bush League. So now, not only is he running his mouth, and yes, I'm speculating, recklessly speculating, as my man Hugh Douglas says. It's reckless speculation, but, you know, if you're going to go on Twitch, and now you're running to the media to D Gunn, and all that, and then this is what you're providing for us on the field from a compete level standpoint, go kick rocks, dude. Go kick rocks. Now let's listen to the next clip. Here's D Gunn mentioning Carson Wentz.
I've been telling you, there's a lot of people in that organization that are frustrated with the quarterback situation right now, but the quarterback understands he has them over a barrel. This is almost Carson Wentz part two. They're not going to eat this kind of money yet. There's no way they're going to eat this kind of money. Look at the cap hit they took when they got rid of Carson, and look, it took them a couple of years to get back on solid ground again, footing, because they were handcuffed financially because of what they owed in the cap hit they took with Carson Wentz. You got the same scenario here with a bigger volume of money involved.
All right, so again, I love D Gunn. I think he's incredible at what he does. Are we now at the point, and it depends who his sources are. If this is coming from the AJs of the world, then go scratch, AJ. But if we're now talking about someone higher up, if we're now talking about serious front office members, and they want this out there for, trust me, when the Carson thing was happening, there were stories leaked by Howie. There were stories leaked by high-profile guys within the Eagles to set the tone from a public standpoint, to play the public perception game. There were things that were all leaked just to kind of, hit the waves a little bit, and you're feeling out the process. You're riding the waves. You knew it wasn't going to happen overnight. You got to massage a big move like that, and you got to hit it at the right time. And then there's also how you maintain leverage to other teams so you can get the best in return. There is a science to this, and if anybody's figured it all out, it's Howie Roseman. So that's part of where my brain goes off on that lane. Is it not, AJ? And is it someone of that nature, someone who's pulling strings? I doubt it, because I also think Howie is obsessed with winning in a similar way that Jalen and Nick work. When I'm reading the tea leaves, it's almost sounding that they're upset that Jalen is Jalen. Now, part of Carson's downfall was personality, relating to the room. I've heard this before as well. I'm not reporting anything here. Jalen's a very unique personality. Do I think Jalen is very similar to the way Brandon Graham relates to his teammates? No. But from a football standpoint, Carson Wentz couldn't stay healthy and couldn't get into the playoffs. Whenever you got to a playoff game, not to his fault, but against Seattle, he gets concussed in a second. We couldn't get playoff games. This guy's winning a Super Bowl. So health and not being able to win is why Carson Wentz was a problem. The relationship side of things and not being able to really connect with his teammates definitely didn't help. But if you struggle to connect with your teammates on a super deep personal level, but you're bringing the team to the Super Bowl over and over again, do you think everybody was best friends with Tom Brady? Or at one point you walk into that locker room and not that you're afraid of Tom Brady, but you know he means business. And you know his presence means you have to live up to the standard. And when the standard is set, you got to compete and bring it. And that's what his presence means. And for a while there, I thought everybody had to match the intensity of Jalen or else you get the hell out of the building. But now, AJ, he doesn't care. Now, he's the only one that doesn't care to this level. But, again, I don't have answers here. I'm just letting it rip with what's coming to my head. And there's a lot of different scenarios that are playing out inside this noggin of mine, and I'm extremely scared about it. Just because I don't know. I don't know. But it seems a little extreme.